I've sunk a lot of boats with my time spent in the deep sea. Gathered tons of confirmed kills. And I've also lost everything. Hours of wipe day progress, gone in the blink of an eye. And I've made a lot of dumb mistakes.
You still up there, Sid? Come on.
So follow along as I give you everything I've learned from the deep sea while I show you how to build the only 2 boats you will ever need. We're going to start the video with a detailed breakdown into how you build the tier 1 starter boat. Check the description for timestamps if you want to skip ahead to the tier 2 PvP boat, and maybe like and subscribe while you're down there because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. This boat is really good for when you don't have a tier 2 and you're trying to go to the deep sea for guns, high tier components, and even blueprint fragments. Metal detecting, buying guns, and even the Chinook crate are great for weapons. The foundations of this boat are quite simple. It's a square 2x1 with a triangle in the front and 2 triangles off the side of the back foundation. But after placing the anchor and front doorway, you must place the sandbags before beginning the rest of the boat. You want to place these sandbags as far away from the center of the square as possible, as to give you as much room to move around on this bottom square. And you need to place these sandbags first, otherwise you won't be able to place them as the doorway and back wall will block them. After the sandbags, you can place this back wall as well as the doorway leading into the 1x1. Now you may have noticed I also placed this little half wall on top of the back wall. This is a really good peak and it's called the low barrier wall. I'll show you how that peak works more in a second. After you place the back stuff, you come to the top and do the ceilings as I do, and this is an important step. You need to do the ramps next, and you want to place them exactly how I do here for the most optimal peaks. Notice how the corner of the ramp just slightly intersects that second vertical piece of wood. This placement will allow a nice crack to form between the front wall and the small ramp. Mirroring the ramp on the other side, I placed it exactly how I placed the ramp on the left. And look at this nice peak that forms. Both sides, great cover and great visibility. After the ramps, you want to place the cannon for both offensive capabilities as well as accessing this front peak that you will be soon making. Now, an important note for this boat, and I hate to say it because I really despise the pay-to-win DLCs in this game, but you're going to want either the jungle DLC or the industrial DLC, so you have access to both storage barrels and the wall-mounted shelves. The front shelf needs to be placed as low as possible and straight in the center of the doorway. And for the back shelf, you need to place the top of the shelf just above the second crack in the wall. Take a look at where I place mine. Now you need to place a deployable just under this shelf. It can either be some small furnaces or a tier 1 workbench. I prefer the workbench because it gives you even greater usage of this peak back here. Look how I can see the second level of that ship when I'm standing on the workbench and the first level when I'm standing on the shelf. Now we're almost done building the boat, but this next step is the most important step, and that's the placement of the sails. You want to start with the center back 2 sails and place them exactly how I do. Notice how most of the leg is on that inner vertical plank, but a little bit pours over to the outer vertical plank. Mirror that exactly on the other side. Next, you want to place these horizontal barrels as close to the back sail as you can, and basically in the center of those 2 planks we just talked about. And then you can place this outer sail as far off to the edge as possible. Mirror this on the other side. And the front 2 sails want to follow the same placement the back 2 sails did, and you want to place it as close to the barrel as you can. And that basically finishes the top of the boat. You want to place a door in that front doorway for extra cover. Not a big deal if you don't, but you will be more exposed without one. And don't forget the placement of these back two sails. The placement's not hard, but they're very important. Without them, this boat will not be max speed. And for the finishing touches, you can place down the doors, place down the wheel, and you want to make sure both of these doors are opening outwards. In the early days of deep sea, you would die whenever you were manning the wheel and a door opened on you, but I guess now it just knocks you off. And the final finishing touches are one bag in the center 1x1, and then you can place 2 vertical barrels over here. This should be enough for your first deep sea run. And finally, you can place the bags. This boat can fit around 8 to 10 bags easily, and you shouldn't need more bags than that because past 8 or 10 people, this boat gets really crowded, and at that point, you should just build a second boat. And so that's how you build the best tier 1 starter boat. I would not recommend trying to drive this boat solo as it's meant for at least a duo up to 6 to 8 men. This boat is so good because it has max speed and high defendability. And so now we're going to move on to the tier 2 boat. This thing is an absolute PvP monster. I've personally never been sunk in this boat, but I have ran away from a few fights that we were losing. That's what's so good about it. It's fat and it's quick. An important disclaimer about this boat is the amount of low grade it uses when all 4 engines are running. When you have all 4 engines running, you're just 0.25 speed mass ratio away from max speed, but you absolutely drain low grade. So I recommend just turning on 2 engines whenever you're not in crucial moments, such as just cruising around the deep sea and you're not chasing any enemies. This boat has 3 cannons on the front for quick ability to sink enemy ships. And you have low wall barrier peaks in 360 degrees of direction, meaning you can have a head glitch peak on any enemy you could run into. This boat is best used for groups who are really down bad in a wipe and need high tier components from a bunch of milk crates, as well as some free ore and some crude, though you'll probably spend most of the crude you get reimbursing yourself for all the low grade you spend. But that's what's so good about the deep sea is it pays back itself. Here's a list of the building cost and all the deployables you need. Starting off with 2 triangle foundations in the front, and then 3 square foundations followed by a little fishtail at the back. It's important you place the front square before you place the 2 windows, otherwise you will not be able to place the windows. Also, you need to place the windows after the square but before the anchor. The front should look like this. Next, place the walls as I do, and remember to destroy this back triangle foundation as this will be your jump up into the boat. Boats without jump up entrances are horrible because you'll get killed before you can even enter the boat. Pay attention right here. I recommend using a tier 2 workbench as a jump up as it's convenient to have in the deep sea, but you can use whatever works, furnaces, shelves. Now place your doorways as you will need the stability to place the upper deck. It's crucial you build the boat in the exact order I'm showing you. Next step is the drawbridges. Notice I can't place the wall right here, not a big deal, just pick up the drawbridge and place it a little bit more over. The placement is not very crucial as these don't develop little gap peaks. Next, place down your doorways as these will be where your cannons sit as well as your low wall barrier peaks. The very front doorway does not need a barrier though, only the 5 I'm showing you. And this triangle is for a sail. The next step is to place all your cannons, and remember to follow the build order I'm showing you as that'll become important soon. And take note where I place these cannons. Notice the back bar is just above that little nail in the ground. This is for the most optimal turn radius of the cannon. Place the back 3 sails after the cannons are down. Now place these back 2 shelves the same way I taught you on the starter boat. The top of the shelf just above that second line in the wooden wall. This is where build order becomes important. You have to place these side shelves before you place the sails, otherwise you cannot place the shelves. And place the shelf off-centered, slightly towards the front of the boat so you can place the sails. Don't forget the sail on the front triangle. And that's really the hard part of the boat done. You want to place the rest of your deployables, starting with your engines, move on to your wheel and windows, and end it with the boxes and the bags. If you need more boxes, you'll have to pick up some bags and move them to the top. Or you can use wall-mounted small boxes, which you can fit a ton of in the first floor. And don't forget to place down your front 2 windows, as well as all your doors, and maybe even some shotgun traps if you really want to be secure.